music soundtrack. That's the only music. I just want that tune and that like song just played in every single scene in the background. That's all I
Just
want
Secret
now.
Tunnel. Just Secret Tunnel.
Repeat constantly.
Just,
And
that,
on-
just Secret
and-
Tunnel, man. Just Secret Tunnel.
And on Rachel's love for Secret Tunnels, welcome to the Juggernaut's podcast.
Hello.
Oh,
2-bit camera.
Now you adjust your camera.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
mean,
realize I was like that off to the side because I was looking at all of you, not myself.
see, this is why I wanted to do the cold open, just for that reason.
You're just trying to like find some dirty joke to make.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely,
that's all it
100%, 100%. Hi, and welcome back to episode
Hello.
4, I think, of our.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because we missed. Well, we didn't miss one. We intentionally didn't do one.
We intentionally didn't do all.
And now we're back, episode 4. We've got Chris, we've got Rachel, we've got Woody.
Oh.
Hello, my
the
first and probably only time on this.
Yeah.
podcast.
Oh, right, you're actually here.
Yes.
Yeah, no, this will be like.
Is it special guest Woody?
Special
so,
guest
yeah.
Woody.
Special guest Woody.
Special guest skipping date night to be here, Woody.
Well, it was mine and Rebecca's anniversary yesterday, so I got today.
So you decided not to see her the day after.
Alright. So you got a free one.
He paid the weekly tax yesterday, and
She gets one. She gets one.
You reached your quota for this
That's
weekend.
it.
yeah,
She
it's
gets
the
one
quota.
and to see me during dinner, and then it's gone. Like I'm just up here.
It's like,
You reached your quota and she reached her max early on in the week.
The amount of shit she can put up with me for 100%.
There's a reason that door's closed.
Yeah.
Alright.
If I've not closed it, she's locked me in. Genuinely, there is a bolt on the other side.
What you can't see is that that door doesn't open to the rest of the house. It opens to the backyard. He's in a shed.
he's
Just
in the shed. Mate, I'd love a man cave like that in the garden. That's great.
Oh my god.
Is that what Rachel calls a secret tunnel?
That's my secret
man
tunnel.
cave.
Yeah. Mine cave, secret tunnel, it's all the same.
It's-
How it works.
We've learned something about Rachel and her love for pegging, apparently.
Now I
Onto
know
our
that
actual
the reason
discussion,
I
though.
got on
No,
Um,
there's
this
discussion.
date night, it's for other reasons. It's because I don't want to see any of you.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Works,
So,
it works
Rachel, what
perfectly.
music do you generally listen to when you peg? What?
You know, just Avatar music, just Secret Tunnel on
Just
repeat.
secret tunnel on repeat.
A little bit of the Beatles in there just for the jazz, but then that's about it, really.
We tried to
Secret-
plan, like, and have a topic, and then you want to do a cold open, and now this is where we are.
I'm trying to.
No,
I'm trying to get there naturally. All right, fuck you. We're doing music. Go.
Ooh, what music do you listen to when you're pegging?
I mean,
Alright, that's it. Just like what do we listen to?
Screaming.
I
Go,
I-
it's a-
plug my ears,
Screaming.
get the ball gag in, and start screaming.
I exclusively listen to Darude Sandstorm.
And that
It's a
beat
good
as
pace
well.
setter.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
It's good for the pace.
I mean, I get 5 seconds before I'm done, so like it may as well be a good 5 seconds.
Do done.
Yeah. I don't even get to a note change. It's just and done. Like,
At that speed, yeah.
Because you're actually done. Because you're just knocked out.
It's just like, I'm out. I'm tapping.
I think we're done.
Damn it.
I think that's it. I think we should
Yeah, I
call it
think-
And
there.
that's it. Thanks, everybody, for coming to the podcast.
On that note,
And on that note,
okay.
and on
On
that
that
bombshell,
Adios.
right? So we wanted to talk about music, and like what music is important to us, and like what
Music.
genres we like to listen to, and we have listened to. Anyone feel like starting off in particular? I know, Chris, you've done a bit of research.
Oh, I wouldn't call it research. It
You've
was
done
more like a trip
extensive
down memory
research,
lane.
and anything you
for
say
today.
that's incorrect should be like heavily.
I don't know, what do you think I'm going to say that's incorrect?
I don't know.
It's,
Your own opinions.
it's mostly opinion, yeah. Fair. No, it mostly started off this evening with just kind of like trying to go down a trip down memory lane to figure out when I like first listened to, believe it or not, rock and metal music. I'm sure that would be a shock to all of you.
wait, what?
Being
And here I
shook
thought
at.
you would just
Wait, sorry. There you go. I know that's reversed now. It's Download Festival for those who
It wasn't
Short
reversed.
time.
It wasn't reversed actually.
Oh, is it not? Oh, okay, that's
It's just
fine.
Hey.
reversed for you.
Just reversed for me. Yeah.
I thought that was just like a brand, like a clothing brand, like Nirvana.
Wait, are you,
You
are you
suck
actually
ass.
serious?
He's not. He's not.
I'm so ready to throw hands.
So is that
So, wait, is that what?
so? Download is a festival, right? Like a metal.
Yeah, so it's a festival in the UK. It's a metal festival in the UK. There's not many big metal festivals in the UK. And Download is one of them. I've been going for the past 3 years, minus this year, which should have been a couple of weeks ago. I was intending on going, but obviously with the state of the world, that didn't happen. But yeah, it's where the vast majority of my experiences with live music have been. I've been to other concerts and gigs and stuff like that, and I do enjoy going. But the amount of bands I've seen over the past 3 years going to these festivals is ridiculous.
I've never yet been to a festival.
I would recommend
I've
going
been
one
to
to everybody.
Never get behind
So-
them.
If it's like a free one,
No,
like a
you're
couple
in
of
front
free
the
ones for a
fucking
day.
stage.
So you went to a free one for a day. Rachel's never been to one.
A
Woody's never
couple
been
of
to one.
free ones that were like close
Couple of
by.
free ones.
They generally do like during. There's a holiday here. It's just like. I think like it translates to Freedom Day, which is basically like I don't know what they have in America, like the 4th of July, 4th of
Yeah.
July. And they do like a free festival. You can go to. Drinks are fucking expensive. You get like
yeah.
all kinds of different music, so it's not like. And you get all kinds of people as well. You get like 80-year-olds and 10-year-olds there.
You'd be surprised at the variation you get at like a Download as well.
Yeah,
There are families there with their kids, and there's some people who've been going since the festival began and were alive 50 years before the festival began.
Right.
Like you get a very big range as well.
So like I feel. I know that this isn't true, but the sort of vibe a lot of people get when they're sort of watching on from the outside is that it's all like very like aggressive and loud music.
Yeah.
From
yeah.
what I've heard,
I
people are
think
actually like incredibly fucking nice to each other there, right?
the vast majority, yeah. Like it's the same for everywhere, right? There's going to be assholes everywhere, but the vast majority are really nice people.
Right.
Like
Oh,
everybody's
yeah.
just there to have a really fucking good time,
Like,
and nobody's supposed to get hurt. There's not the point.
oh yeah, like you go to a like any metal gig, even like quite a lot of like just like rock gigs. I went to see Fall Out Boy when I was into them, like when I was young. And
Metal,
stupid.
really,
yeah.
really up there
Metal
with
was
metal.
probably not the way to
Fall Out
start
Boy.
that sentence.
Well, I went to like I mean I'll get into it in a bit, but yeah, and like they'll start mosh pits at pretty much fucking anything. But like, there's a sort of like it's an unspoken rule of the moment you see someone hit the floor,
They come
you-
back up.
like 5 people will swamp that guy to get back up.
Right,
Because
yeah.
No one wants the gig to stop for.
Aw.
It's kind of counterintuitive, but a mosh pit is such like a like this the sort of area where everyone really respects each other and each other's safety and stuff.
The whole point
Really-
is to be in there running at each other and pushing each other around. But if someone hits the deck, then yeah, they get picked up immediately.
Yeah.
Like you won't have people like jumping over the top of you or anything. The next person who's
Yeah.
behind you is like, oh, here you go, dragging you up to the floor.
Yeah, it's definitely like feel like the sort of like aggression of the music with a lot of songs and like bumping into each other. You're gonna get a bit bruised, a bit like bashed up, but you're not gonna get hurt. Like, because at the end
Yeah,
of the
there's a
day,
big
if you get
difference.
hurt, the music stops.
Right, yeah.
I think I've been more hurt at paintball than most
Yeah.
concerts, most gigs.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in almost been in a couple of mosh pits accidentally. And it's always like a thing of like, God, I'm glad I'm not in there. But like, if you were to be in there and you sort of meant to be in there, you actually wanted to be there, you're not likely to actually get hurt, right?
No, I 100% understand why some people it's not their thing at all. I also understand like why concerts in general are not for everyone. Like being in the front, because I know I've been to concerts with friends who were just like completely happy to chill to the sides or the back and like not get in there. But it's always something that I've loved about live music is getting involved and as far in as I physically can, basically.
It's a bit of a thing for me though that like I'd love to be like in front, but then you're always in the back of your mind thinking, okay, if a mosh pit happens, I have to like fucking bolt out of here.
Dodge
Right.
it out.
They're not usually at the front. They'll be like 6, 7 rows back usually.
Right.
Because you'll have like your different rows of people. So you've got the ones at the front who've been there for fuck knows how long, especially at a festival.
Right.
You'll get people making their way to like the front of the main stage for the last band like 3 hours, 4 hours before they're on, and they will just stand at the front, and that's it. They're like leaning over the fence, stood there. Nobody is getting their spot. And then there's like the next 4 to 5 rows of people who don't really give a shit about being in a mosh pit or crowd surfing or anything like that. They just want to see the band and be involved in it. And then it's kind of the free for all zone, and then the people who would rather not be involved in that kind of stuff.
So I know we're like talking about music, but what I've always been sort of curious about when it comes to like metal concerts and festivals, like about like drug use there, is that much of a thing? Because I don't feel like really?
Absolutely.
I would assume it's the same as another festival where there are people who use drugs there. Obviously, I'll be honest, it is. From what I saw, what I've experienced at Download specifically, it is more drinking.
Right.
Like, there are a lot more people there just getting drunk every night, all day, whatever. Because you can bring your own drinks in.
Oh, wow. Really?
You can buy them there as well, but like you said, they are expensive. I usually buy 1 or 2, depending on what, but you can bring your own drinks in anyway. But yeah, we actually, last year when we arrived, we were there on the Wednesday. We just set our like campsite up, because usually you go in a group and when you set up all your tents in whatever area you find, kind of in a circle with a bit in the middle, we'd all got our camp chairs out and everything, and we'd literally just sat down and like cracked open the first can of the weekend, and this guy with his little bum bag comes over and he's like, "Hey guys, how you doing? Like, do you need anything for the weekend?" And we all went, "No, we're all right, cheers." And he was like, "Sure, nothing at all." Just like this random guy. It's like, "Yeah, we're totally gonna trust you."
Yeah, I mean,
and
if you're
like,
interested
"No,
in
no."
doing that stuff, don't just buy it from some random dude.
Especially not at a festival.
Yeah,
Bring
And
your,
then
bring your
he
own,
gave
have
us-
it tested. Like,
he gave us a card when we said no. He was like, "Oh well, if you do need anything," and he pulled out business cards.
that's a businessman.
Gave
He
him
knows
out,
what he's
like,
doing,
a little phone number and a name
Was
on it.
Yeah, fucking willpower.
Yeah.
right? So,
Was it by any chance the same guy that had the cards RTX? Is it that
Oh.
guy?
Oh.
The fucking email one. As
Yeah.
funny as that would be, no, it unfortunately wasn't.
yeah,
But yeah, so
you
there
don't
is
you don't
drug
want
use
that
there,
guy
but
anywhere near your
it's-
tent,
It's not rampant,
right?
I would
So,
say.
around what time do they usually like call it quits? Like, how long does a metal concert or festival? How long does that go for? Like, around what time does the music stop? Would you say?
Depending on where you are, never, basically. So, like, Wednesday is the first day you could arrive. If you're doing the full weekend, you're doing like Wednesday to Sunday. You can camp till Monday, because obviously the Sunday night stuff doesn't end that early. And the main like festival bit is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all through the day, basically.
Right.
So if you want, you can just arrive on the days. You can camp the whole time. You can camp for one day, whatever. They're really flexible with what like selling any combination you can imagine that you want to do. If that
That's
makes
cool.
sense, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
But we've mostly done the full 5 days, and the Wednesday and the Thursday is just like loads of shows and stuff are on randomly. But in places where they sell like booze or anything like that, or stage areas or the circus tents and stuff like that, there's always something to do for like 24/7.
Right, because if you're drinking alcohol, you get tired, right? You get slow and like, blur.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not gonna be able to keep going till like 7 a.m., right?
You do kind of like run. You accept the fact that you're going to run on fumes for a few days,
Right.
and your choices for food are either like what you've brought yourself, or you can like leave to go to a shop and risk your parking space, or like you can buy food there, of course, because they sell everything. If you turned up like with the clothes on your back and a credit card, you could survive the entire 5 days. You could buy a tent, a sleeping bag, a roll mat, a fucking
God.
blow-up mattress,
Honestly,
some wellies, like the lot.
if you spend enough,
You'd be,
if you
you'd be
spend
ripped.
if you spend enough of that guy with the bum bag, that's all you need. It's just to survive
I
5
know,
days.
right?
you might not survive the 5 days though.
Well, you'll survive up until the 5th day, and then you just
Yeah.
fucking flop over and
Then
die.
you just,
Yeah,
like,
you do kind of just accept the fact that you're going to be
Cough.
running on fumes.
You'll cough up
Like,
your liver
you-
and your kidneys.
Yeah, you stay up most nights until like the early hours of the morning. You crash out. You wake up at like 10 or 11 the next day, and you go back to it. It's just kind of
God.
what you do for 5 days.
I mean, it's probably really good when you're there, but thinking about that, like, oh my god. Having been to like a sort of rave once, not given there were other reasons why I was a bit more tired the next day, but
it is exhausting. Don't get me wrong. And
Yeah.
actually, last year after going, we finished on the Sunday, drove back home. Not to where my parents' house where I was currently living,
Right.
to my old uni house, which we still had a key for, but had technically moved out of. So we kind of slept there because that's where our friend with the car lived still, in that area. And when we got back at 1 in the morning, there was no way to get a train home. So me and a buddy slept in that house. The next morning, we got a train back down to where I'm from. I had a shower, got changed into my suit, and I got a train back up to where I used to go to uni to go for my job interview at the job I now have.
Hey.
So you were rough. when
At
you-
like 11 o'clock. Yeah.
I mean, I won't say what it is, but given where you work, it doesn't surprise me that would be okay. They wouldn't notice.
Yeah, I'd rather not just like shout out where I work and live, but
He works for the guy with the bum bag. I love that word, by the way, bum bag.
fun bag, yeah.
Dumb
Did you-
bag.
Also,
It's way better than fanny bag.
right, yeah. And depending on where you live,
Yeah, I agree with you.
a bum bag might be like when they find like a homeless person. I'm sorry, that was
Oh, yeah.
dark.
Was.
What? What?
So did you? 'Cause I mean, I don't think you would have started out listening to metal, like at a festival like that, right?
No. I mean,
You wouldn't love, yeah.
there's a build up to that, yeah, of course. So
Right.
that I mean, we're kind of going back to the very, very beginning. That is kind of why I was looking at stuff going down a bit of a nostalgia trip earlier today, because I was trying to figure out where I'd first like actively enjoyed like a rock or metal song rather than just hearing it passively.
Hmm.
And I went back to a game called SmackDown vs. Raw 2007.
Yes.
What?
Which had
Yes.
a song I vividly remember because I was like, "What game was this?" I knew the song, but I couldn't remember what game it was. So 2007, for like references, I was about 10, maybe 11. And it's a song called by 3 Days Grace called "Animal I Have Become," which is
That's not. It's. I wouldn't call that
it's
metal.
definitely in the rock. I wouldn't call it metal, but it's in the rock and metal kind of genre. I've been quite vague with this because I've never quite said I'm only a metal fan or only
Yeah. I mean,
X
I
fan.
feel like if
I
you
like
listen
quite
to,
a
I feel like
variation.
if you listen to any sort of rock music, you're gonna appreciate all of it, right?
Yeah, you do. You find because rock is so varied.
You
there's,
might-
there's something for nearly everyone.
You might not be into it as the thing you're as much as the thing you're into, but you're always gonna appreciate every sort of like rock from every year.
I
Yeah, pretty
definitely
much.
think there's like a sort of, it's a bit like one of those things where so like metal heads and like when you get to the really heavy stuff like Arch Enemy and Venom Prison stuff like that, like where it's basically just screaming, they'll tend to appreciate stuff like, you know, your classics, your AC/DC stuff like that, and like sort of building up towards that. It definitely doesn't go the other way though. Like
No,
I know
but
a
I've
lot of people who will listen to sort of like that, and then like I can't stand anything heavier than like.
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit
Yeah,
trickle down, right?
mean,
it's
I
like
get
you're going up a hill, and it gets like progressively heavier and heavier the higher the hill you go, and you've appreciated everything on the way up. But at some point, you're going to reach the point where you're just like, I don't get it anymore.
I think there's a difference between like enjoying it and appreciating the sort of art behind it, right? Because
Yeah.
like I mean, to a point where you're saying is true. Like I don't really get the appeal of like just the screaming. I don't mind it if it's like in a song for a little bit, but like if it's just that, I don't. It's something I might get. But then like if you listen to the music and the instruments, it's definitely you realize that like how difficult it is to do and like the art behind it, right? I suppose.
You kind of touched on a point I want to make as well, Woody, where you mentioned like the AC/DCs and stuff like that. Is the rock and metal as a genre itself has an abundance of classics.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
everybody knows some kind of like classic rock or anything along those lines. You Guns N' Roses, Iron Maiden, Metallica, AC/DC. I could keep listing for
Yeah.
days.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
100% like everyone knows one. At least they could probably name a song off the top of their head, which is rock. I feel like that's not necessarily the other way around of it sort of thing. Like,
Yeah.
you definitely a lot of people who are into rock and metal are like will crucify you for listening to like R&B and fucking any rave music or anything like that.
At least the kind of people
I know.
that I've
I know. I've experienced it. Thank you, guys.
we do like lay into you a little bit, but it's like most of the people I've met around it, some of them genuinely do just not understand other genres and stuff like that. But like me personally, I actually enjoy lots of other genres as well, and most of my friends also enjoy music from other places and can appreciate it from other places. This is just what I would listen to on a daily basis.
Chris loves ska. I mean, it's,
Ska, yeah.
you can't see it right now, but he's wearing a checkered Bermuda
Checkered shorts
pants,
or something like yeah.
Um,
Ska is great.
yeah. His little hat is off to the side right now.
We did
Bop
there was a moment
plays the
yesterday-
trumpet as well.
I used to play the tenor horn when I was
What?
very little Chris.
Very little. Even I mean,
He
you're
pitched
you're,
this
you're
now.
still a little Chris though, aren't you?
Yeah, that's why I said very little
Right.
Chris.
Fair enough.
There
Right.
was a moment yesterday though that Kuhn, you made me very, very, very happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah, I think
I think I have it now.
I thought you'd like that.
Like I went from like having like maybe no respect to actually having respect.
No,
for
I
you now.
feel like you guys don't realize how much metal and rock and stuff I listen to. 'Cause I feel like I only have, I do absolutely. I listen to more because I do like listen to drum and bass.
Name
and dubstep
5
and all
metal
that
bands.
stuff. Jesus Christ.
I named 5 like a minute ago.
Right, yeah. No, but I've you know I've had my time listening to like Avenged and
Yeah,
you know that sort of area.
everyone had their rebellious stage.
I mean, I still like to listen to Avenged, and that's actually what I was thinking. So what Woody was on about was Woody is a really big fan of. I'm going to say the name, and he's going to be off, and it's going to be an hour later, and we haven't discussed anything else. He's a really big fan of a metal band called Trivium, and I thought I'd do some research.
what-
I
Do you
needs
want me to whack
merch.
my leg out? Do you want me to whack the shirt?
don't whack anything out, please.
Like-
Don't.
This is
don't.
Twitch, not
We're gonna-
OnlyFans.
Whack out the signed
This band
albums
on
I've
Twitch
got,
is fine.
or
Just whack it out at your own time. I mean, maybe ask Rebecca.
This is the first person on
Yeah.
OnlyFans.
Once you've reached your new, once the next sort of period has started where she wants to see you again.
yeah, next.
But no, yeah, I have listened to like metal and while I started off when I said there's a point in everyone's life where they like actively start listening to music rather than just listen to the radio and stuff, right? Or I mean, not everyone. There's people who don't care.
A
And
really
they're
good
fucking
analogy.
insane. But
um,
yeah, go ahead.
I heard for this. So like when you're a child, like super young, like 4 to like 7, 8, you have like your family's taste in music. You listen to what they listen to because there's not really anything else to listen to. You don't
Yeah.
have the ability to go out there and search for your own music.
Yeah.
You get a little bit older, probably like
I mean,
between...
LimeWire.
Well, yeah, but like at 8, I don't think at 8 years old you were using LimeWire.
No.
No, my dad was for me.
Yep. I remember getting a free MP3 player when my parents opened a bank account for me when I was like
Dude,
8
I,
or
the
something.
tiny, like, I don't even know what it
like
looks like.
nanopod things.
Terrible.
It
Not
wasn't-
even that. It
It
wasn't,
wasn't
even.
like it wasn't like an iPod. It was like kind
Just-
of cylindrical
Oh my god!
little
Yeah, and I had
black.
this like
MP3.
yeah, exact same. It's probably the exact same one. It's
It
terrible.
probably was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
But yeah,
yeah,
so you have your sort of like family's taste in music almost because there's not really much else to go from there. Then you start to get like a bit older, and if you have like an older sibling or something like that, you tend to listen to a bit more of their music because you know you're like, family, I'll still listen to your music, and then you start to develop taste from there, where you're starting to have the ability to like sort of reach out. Your friends are like, oh, just listen to this and this and this, and then that's where your music starts to develop. Because until I was like 15, I didn't have a taste in music. It was all shit.
Same. Yeah, I mean, same. Yeah. So I like at some point started listening to dubstep because one of my friends listens to it, and that was the big thing then. Like when I was 15, like it was around 2010, 2011, 2012, around then.
I liked Nickelback.
Ugh.
I love
You-
Nickelback.
I have
Shut the fuck
Nickelback
up.
written down as a note to defend them because they actually have some fucking great songs.
They have some really good songs.
Me and you, dude.
I actually used to really
Yeah,
like
Nickelback
Nickelback
defense
when I
crew.
was
They have
like
some really good songs.
maybe 15, 14, 15. I really liked Nickelback.
Then I remember after like listening to a bunch of dubstep, I actually by accident listened to some stuff I used to listen to back then because one of the artists started doing a bunch of drum and bass, and he's really big in that sort of world as well right now. But then at some point, I remember watching this YouTuber called Sly Fox Hound, who was a part of the Creatures, and he was almost every video he'd mention Blink-182 somewhere. So I thought, yeah, well, I'll give it a listen. Imagine being 15 years old, like full of like disgusting teenage angst, and then finding out about Blink. Like,
I'm pretty
Oh
sure
my
that's probably
God.
what we all did.
right?
I
Yeah.
think that's what Blink-182 did, right?
Yes, they
I
were
think
just like
that-
30 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck
Right.
yeah.
But then I got way into that. And it's funny that you mentioned what's that band you called in the SmackDown game?
3 Days Grace.
3 Days Grace. I found out about them through Watch Dogs,
Oh,
and also Animal I've Become was also in that game.
Yeah, yeah.
And then as I got a bit older and Spotify became more of a thing, I started just going into more sort of metal and more classic stuff. And then drum and bass came sort of, I guess, like this year that I really got into it, for reasons. Because I went to a rave, and then I got really into it. I
feel like
got really into it.
The like the
real.
biggest bonds, like
I
or
brought- I brought-
attachments to
I brought my own
bits of
drum bag.
music. Yeah, of course he did. Like they always come from like experiences with friends a lot of the time, or like social
Yeah,
experiences.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Because I definitely did a similar thing where I kind of found my own music. I wrote a couple more games down. Like Saints Row 2 had an MCR song, a Paramore song, and another song by a band called Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, which I don't know if any of you know. And Guitar Hero 3. Yeah, I know. Figured Woody would, but it's kind of addressing the other two with this kind of stuff. And Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock I played a lot as a kid, which has... I wrote down all the songs, like a bunch of songs from it, but it's so many. There's just got a bunch of really, really classic songs. And that's kind of where it began, and you kind of find your own little bit. But then it was when I went in school, like talking to friends, that's when actual, like, attachments to bands, like, for me, Foo Fighters, Avenged Sevenfold, stuff like that. Linkin Park, that's where that came from, is talking with friends.
But I feel like that's where that sort of, what was going on earlier, that sort of connection between like if you listen to one type of form of rock music, you're gonna get into all the other ones, not all of the other ones. You're gonna get into a lot of the other ones. That's where I feel like, because I started listening to Blink-182, you're always gonna find those other bands that sort of go into the direction of another band, and then it goes a bit more into that direction, and eventually you'll arrive at Foo Fighters, and through them you'll go to like the old classic metal stuff, right? And
Yeah.
and you know, in the classic rock, I mean, you listen to Queen and then you go on from there, right? So there's always that like sort of progression of finding the sort of place where you enter that world, and then it sort of spreads and goes off in different directions. That's what it's like for me. And then I make these weird jumps every now and then where I start listening to like hip hop and like old.
Well, the weirdest jump for me recently has been by introduction to musical theatre by my girlfriend,
Oh.
which is like
Yeah,
been
dude.
way.
So good.
I've enjoyed it
His
way more than I
girlfriend.
thought. Yeah, that she doesn't
No,
exist.
no, no, no,
doesn't
no.
exist.
Company Japan doesn't.
Japan
Japan.
doesn't exist, according to Woody. Yeah, so and she was always been a big fan of it, and she kind of made me listen to Hamilton, which then flowed
Sure,
into...
that's going to
Yeah, it's
Disney Plus.
on Friday. This Friday, yeah. Which has like flowed into lots of other ones at this point as well. I've actually seen a few live now as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I can see that. Now,
Rick, I feel like we've missed out.
yeah, see.
Yeah,
Here's the thing. That's what I was just gonna say.
Hello.
I know about Chris. I know about Woody. I know about myself. Obviously, I haven't completely destroyed my brain yet. Rachel, complete enigma. Not a clue. If you're gonna say,
Oh, yeah.
if you're gonna
No.
just say Nickelback, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
All I listen to is Nickelback. Well,
Nickelback.
every day.
Um,
Nickelback. It's
let's
fine,
move on
don't
from
worry about
that.
it.
Let's move. That Nevin. Let's move on from that. I don't want to. Those are. That's
Fine.
thin ice at the moment. Let's So Rachel, what music do
Yo, hello.
you listen to, apart from Hamilton? That's coming out
All
on Disney
sorts.
Plus on the 3rd of July.
Yeah, dude, I'm so excited for that because I actually haven't listened to anything from that yet. Excited to actually listen to it because Chris is raving about it. Someone else is raving about it in the group. I can't think of who else it is.
Matt.
Except Matt
Matt
all the
fucking
time
loves
is just
it.
talking about Hamilton. It's great.
He watched it way or listened to it way before I did, and he was actually one of the people also trying to convince me. I think I brought it up at some point, and he was like, "Fucking do it."
It's just like, oh god, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, man, I'm into all sorts. I don't even know what I like. I like country, as you can tell. Yeah, man, it's great.
What kind of country?
R&B,
Like,
Uh,
because apart from like Dolly Parton
all
and
kind
like
of country.
Miley Cyrus before she went insane, that's
She means Yugoslavian.
Yugoslavia.
Her favorite country.
She's into
It's
a
absolutely
she's into a
it's,
country.
Just that country's music. That's all I prefer. There we go. We're good. That's it. There you go.
Because your name is
Yeah, just
your
all
favorite
kinds of
Yugoslavian
country.
artist. Yeah, okay. Oh, I mean, cool. I mean, I can definitely see. Here's the thing: like as far as I know, music like Dolly Parton, Dolly Parton, is considered country. But then you've got way on the other side of the spectrum, in my mind, there's can't think of his name right now. Hurt, that song. Johnny Cash.
Cash.
Right, who also is country.
Yeah.
And that's like,
Hey man.
that's not match with me, to me, but they're both described as
Same
country.
genre.
Right, yeah.
Country
it
is wild.
Motown.
No, she's country, but she's more like a pop country, I guess is the way you could describe it. Because there's country, which is like it's singing about tractors and all that jazz. And then you've got kind of like the pop country, which is like Dolly Parton, like Miley Cyrus in like the early days.
Kind of more recently,
this
she's been
weird-
doing some more country-ish stuff as well, hasn't she? It's been
Dolly Parton or Miley?
from because a little bit ago I went to you're all gonna hate me for saying this. I don't mind Miley Cyrus's music.
okay.
At which point?
Yeah, sort of
which
after
Miley
this,
Cyrus?
sort of before and after, if you know what I mean. Before and after
I don't know
the
what
sort of
kind of
Britney
phase
Spears
But
phase.
are we talking like Party in the USA is after or Wrecking Ball? Because that's a very big difference in a very short time.
After like Malibu and onwards. And
Man,
there's
that
and
means
there's
nothing to
and
me.
there's
Yeah,
some
dude.
and then there's some good songs in there. Like there's some stuff that's generally the stuff that goes more into sort of like the country side that I don't mind. And then but like she does both, which is odd. Like she'll have like a Wrecking Ball ish, well not Wrecking Ball ish, but like so like a really like out there party sex song, and then a country song on the same album. It's like, oh, I like this song. I'll go listen to the album. It's like, oh my god, what's happening? No.
It's like Marshmello did a country song with I can't remember who he did it with, but it's like he's doing stuff like with who sings Happier with him? Bastille? Is it Bastille he sings that song with? And he goes on and does like a country song.
so.
It's like those are two very different genres and artists. But yeah, like a lot of people do just like dip in and out of like doing like a country song randomly. It's weird.
God, I know
Country's one of those weird times.
hip hop.
And then you got
Dude.
Wagon Wheel and 5 o'clock. Somewhere.
Wagon wheel, dude. Heck yeah, 5 o'clock somewhere. It's
I
so
just
good.
those are like the only two I can name because of you putting them in playlists.
Country roads.
Like if
Yeah.
we go on road trips and stuff like that, we make playlists, and Rachel will always add
I mean,
a couple of country songs.
country roads.
Rui has to deal with the country
Jolene.
all the time. Country
You can't
roads.
not know
I meant
Jolene.
like obscure country songs
Right,
rather
enough.
than
Yeah.
obvious
To
ones.
deal with
Old Town Road.
Of course, I know
the
Dolly
Zac Brown
Parton.
band. Black Jazz. They're good.
Hmm.
They're a good band. Yeah. Rui has to deal with it the most though. Rui has to deal with my weird taste in music on every single trip. It's great.
That's because you're the only one who lives anywhere remotely close enough to him to
We
pick
don't
him up to
drive
take him anywhere.
anywhere. It's great. Good time, man. Ah.
Which is more dangerous, your music taste or the driving?
Mix them, put them together. We get
Or
some
the
Gloria
car.
on when I'm
Or
driving
the
and I'm
car.
a
Or the
maniac.
car. Or the car itself.
Is it safe to drive
Ooh,
your car
baby.
with the radio on? Does it like
not.
destroy the battery?
Too much.
Ah, she's fine. Can't do it when you're going
Fucking
uphill though. Then
what?
it'll kill it.
Yeah,
She'll
no, I'm
die.
You go uphill and the music goes down an octave.
Just slowly like starts slowing its
Yeah.
stuff down.
No more
Oh,
bass. Bass turns off.
But Chris, it's all about that bass, that bass.
No. Oh, treble.
You've had,
God, that's such an
Different
awful
script.
song.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Oh.
I think that's
Sorry to the
like pretty...
kids.
That's worse. That's definitely
Spy
worse.
Kids now, I think.
Which one?
The young boy, like the young boy in it, brother.
Yeah. I definitely don't know what that
American
actor's name was, but fair enough.
I can't remember it, but I know which one it is. Are you gonna ask, Woody?
Yeah, you've like because me and Chris have had like quite similar experiences when it comes to gigs. Like I know what a metal gig is like, and I'd like to say they're not all the same, but in terms of like what you get from the experience, a lot of them are quite similar. Stage set might be a bit different, and like how they perform. But like you had a really unique experience, didn't you, with a gig like just before Scotland? How,
Good chat.
Oh, you
Me?
did
Are we talking
You
to
did.
me?
you had a really. I'll give you one hint as to what it was. You've
It's the
named
reason
your
you couldn't
car after
be
that
there,
person.
right? Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, we went to the holographic tour for Whitney Houston. I forgot that was right before Scotland.
Wait,
It's
you,
the reason you weren't
Yeah,
in
dude, that
Dundee
was-
with us.
Yeah.
you
The
named
reason I
your
wasn't
you
in
named
Dundee
your
is because
you named your
Yeah,
car
my mum.
Houston.
yep, named my car Houston, named after me car. Car Whitney, named after Whitney Houston. Yeah, dude, that was a really cool experience. That was something I never thought like it would do. So basically, Whitney Houston died like 2012, I
Whitney
think.
Houston's dead.
My mum's a really big fan. Whitney Houston's dead, guys. Just so you know, announcing it
Spoiler.
here, first time. Ever.
That's what that's what
Hang on, I'm only at
The year
2010. God.
2012.
that's what they want you
You'll
to
get
God,
there.
believe.
you'll
You'll
look
get there. There's a lot of
2020.
plot twists
That's
in
what they want
between.
you. That's what they want you to believe. The Earth's hollow. Whitney Houston is inside Hollow Earth.
Oh, I'd love that.
Sorry,
I would
go
love
on.
that. Basically, they did this thing where they projected her onto the stage, and it's like a 3D model, so you could sit anywhere and you would get
Hmm.
the kind of angles you would from a live performer, and she'd walk around the stage, and like she would interact with objects that were also like 3D, but like her outfits would change. It was her singing, her talking to the audience, and it was just so cool. It was a really cool experience. I'll show you guys the videos at some point. I'll put them in the Discord probably. But it was a very interesting time.
So what
I
was
liked
that
it.
like in terms of like, I guess like how real it felt? Because obviously you know the person's dead, but like,
Do you-
but like for example, like
Do you
you
think-
know,
do you think there were
at
people-
any gig where the person is really there, they're like, are you having a good time tonight? Like wherever you are. So I imagine that was just like, are you having a good time tonight, Coventry?
No, it was like really.
You just
it was
don't
really
say the
weird. 'cause,
place,
like,
right?
just like, how's it going tonight, guys? Woo, good. Honestly, there were points where like I forgot, and like me and my mum and my sister said the same things, that we forgot that it was a hologram. Like it was that
Huh.
realistic that it was generally like she was like stood there because like my sister walked out to go and get a drink or something like that, and she was like, yeah, as she was coming up, she was like, yeah, like the angles were completely different to when I was like stood on there. It wasn't just like a flat image; it was completely like 3D.
Hmm.
I was like, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Is that sort of
I'd
that?
have known unless you told me.
sort of inherent thing of it being like far away and dark, right? That really helps.
Yeah.
Do you think there were people there who didn't know she was dead and didn't know they had bought tickets to a hologram?
I kinda hope so.
That would have been funny. That would have been really funny. Apart from it said in big words, hologram tour, and all the time during the stage, she would randomly just disappear from the stage because it was like, oh, time for her to like leave and the dancers do their thing, and she'd pop back up magically.
I was gonna ask that, like,
What do
I
you mean?
really hope they know she's a hologram.
What do you mean?
Somebody, that is how they found out she was dead. She like disappeared, and they were like, oh,
And they're just like, oh my god,
I was gonna
just
ask how they
killed
dealt
Whitney
with that,
Houston. They
like,
What you mean? There's no signing afterwards.
they didn't like make her seem like she'd run off stage for a moment while they sorted things out. It was like she just disappeared.
Yeah, it'd be like she just disappeared. That was something that you've just reminded me that happened. So in one of the movies that
Chris just froze.
she
it.
does,
Sorry, go on.
Bodyguard. Oh no.
Chris
it's
keeps
raining during
freezing
the
at the
entire scene
exact
and
wrong
stuff.
time for him. I'm sorry. Go on.
Like, oh no, you're good. And there was like rain falling from the set and stuff like that. And as that was happening, she was getting like more and more. I hate that word, but like you could physically see it like interacting with her, and it was
Say
like
it.
that's
Oh,
cool. Like
phrase.
her hair was
Say it.
getting more wet. Yeah,
The other word.
her hair was
The
getting
other
like
word.
more wet. Like her
No,
clothes
the
were
other
getting
word.
like
Say
stop.
it. Say it.
No, hairs were getting like her clothes was getting more like stop.
Moist.
Damn.
And it was just like that was cool.
Damp is
God,
worse.
damn. Don't like this conversation. Like, that was cool, like to see like that kind of thing. I was like that brings the realism more. But yeah, literally it'd be like cool transitions where like, oh, the lights have changed colours, boom, she's wearing a new outfit. Or like end of song, boop, she's disappeared. It was cool. Did
That
it.
is
They
very
handled it
cool.
very well. It was very nice.
So it definitely worked. It didn't end up weird.
Work, yeah. It wasn't there wasn't like any kind of what's that called when something looks real but you know it's not?
Uncanny Valley.
Uncanny Valley?
Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't
yeah.
like that at all. Like it was generally like this could be a real person. I'd be okay with that.
Didn't they do one of those concerts with like an anime thing? Not too long ago.
Vocaloids are a thing.
Yeah, right.
Big thing, dude.
That's. I mean, it's not really a big thing.
That's
in
like
the
on the
West, but
other.
it's-
That's on the other side of the Uncanny Valley, where it's like.
Yeah, where it's
yeah.
it's an entirely made up character which they project for shows. Yeah.
It's cool.
I don't know much about it. I just know it exists.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I very.
It's the same kind of technology.
There
right?
is this sort of weird
I'd
thing
imagine
where
so.
like,
Yeah.
as soon as you go into like a concert or a rave or something, where it's like everybody's there for the same reason and they like the same kind of music, and everybody is just so fucking nice to each other. Like
I've
that's
definitely had experiences where it's not been nice.
I haven't so far. I haven't
So,
been to
like,
like a lot of
haven't
them,
had
but like
many.
I haven't. Like it's like if I were to go out back when the world hadn't ended yet, just on a regular like night out, and I'd like, I think I've had this discussion with you guys before, and I like bump into someone, you know, you get the shit kicked out of you. Maybe not right away, but like you'd have a fight,
Yeah,
right? You'd
you
have
would.
an argument. They'd be pissy about it. But if that happens like at any of the raves I've been to, which is like exactly like 2, if you. Anyway, they'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, are you okay? Yeah, fine. Oh, yeah, I'll get you a new beer. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, have fun." And you're done,
mean-
right? Like it's the entire vibe is sort of different. I feel.
Yeah, I like Chris said earlier, it's definitely the exception than the rule. But like, I had an experience where, like, personally, I find being on the front barrier, very front row, the worst experience you can have. Especially, it definitely depends on the band as well. So
Why is that?
I've had 3 experiences where I've been like at the barrier. One at a Trivium gig. They were surprisingly pretty chill. Like no one was like shoving to try and push onto it or anything like that, and like trying to get onto the barrier, trying to get to the front. And I was just like, by the time they reached a couple of songs, I was like, right, I want to be in the mosh pit for these, so I'm leaving the barrier. And like people let me through, absolutely fine. The second, the sort of like kind of quite bad one was it was me and my partner at the time went to see Rise Against, and we managed to get barrier. And about halfway through, there was this guy who rammed in between us and just sort of basically elbowed us like off the barrier.
Oh my god.
Like just so he could be at the front, because it's where they were all like taking the pictures and stuff like that.
Right.
And then the fucking worst experience. I think this was just in. I went to see Panic at the Disco.
Oh god.
Yeah, that's enough.
Okay.
You told the story.
Listen,
I feel sorry for you already.
Personally, I like.
He did it to
Panic at the
himself, he
Disco.
did it to
They've
himself.
definitely released some bangers, and I enjoy them.
agree.
However,
Did you see
when
the Black
there-
Parade? That's not Panic at the Disco.
It's not.
Nope,
Oh,
never
not
mind.
at all.
Go on.
Not even close. So I went.
Did you
to see
close the
them,
goddamn door?
I did. On some kid's face.
God.
So like,
I assume that's a lyric.
Yeah,
Yes.
not,
Right,
not
okay.
on their goddamn.
Mine was, yours was not.
Nope.
So like, I went when I must have been about 15, 16 when I went to see them. So everyone else who was at the gig was also a similar age, or like and it was mostly women, and it was mostly squealing 16-year-old girls.
Woody felt
And
right at home.
Was it
Great, yeah.
perfect?
And it was. I have been to by this point I'd been to see Trivium. I had been to see.
How old were you at this time? 24.
16.
Oh, okay, go on.
no. I'd like been to see a Trivium. I'd been to see Bullet for My Valentine and stuff like that. Like I'd been to gigs where like the crowd is expected to be rowdy, but I had to be pulled out of the barrier because everyone just the moment they came on stage just went like as if this is the barrier. Everyone from the back started pushing and pushing.
You.
And just, yeah, and it was
Woohoo!
like to the point where I couldn't breathe because like the barrier was like here. And it was just pushing everything in, and I was like, "Let's get." I just, please help me for the love of fucking God! I'm going to die. And the amount of people I saw getting pulled off of barrier at that gig because like they were just getting crushed. It was like, what the fuck? I'm only going to metal gigs from now on.
There's nothing worse in this world
Fuck
than
whatever this is.
large
Yeah.
groups of 16-year-olds.
Yeah, don't ever go to a
16-year-old
gig where you
girls.
expect there to be more than like 4 16-year-old girls.
I've never been a barrier person.
I feel
I've
like-
never ever tried to be at the barrier. Like, I don't really want to be either, I don't think.
I got barrier Trivium because I bought a meet and greet ticket.
Oh, did they have one of those shitty sectioned off areas where if you bought a specific ticket you could only get to that front section?
Oh no, but it went so. I bought the meet and greet ticket. You obviously went into a separate queue to meet them because you met them before the gig.
Right.
You did your photograph, your signing, and whatever, and then they let you go to the shop if you wanted to buy anything, and then go queue up before they let anyone else in. Go like stand at like get into the hall before they let anyone else in.
Makes
So-
sense, makes sense.
Yeah. You're paying. God, what that cost me. £100. To me, it was worth it, but I know to some people that wouldn't be. But
Definitely wouldn't be, yeah.
I also know there are people who pay that much just for a seat at a concert,
Yeah.
which baffles me more than anything.
So you go to a metal concert, right? And people generally like really like quite packed in.
And the front, like, so you tend to have, if it's just a gig, like not a festival, you tend to have seated and standing tickets because of stadiums, how they work.
Yeah.
So obviously the seating's all completely cordoned off, and the standing would be like the kind of arena bit that has its cordoned off. And usually there's some kind of merch stand at the back of that.
Right.
And around the merch stand up until like probably over halfway, you could like walk perfectly freely and probably stick your hands out wide. But if you're in the front, like barrier to a third of the way back that hall, you're pretty close together. You're not like on the train rush hour, like can't move, stuck together, but within a short distance of someone on either side.
I might have broken everything. Wait, just 2 seconds.
Oh,
No.
What's he done now?
No, it's fine. I
just
just have to
oh, Woody's back.
restore your faces. There's
Oh
Rachel.
no.
And last but least,
Oh wait, it's not me, it's you.
there we go.
Yeah, Kuna's nice.
So, oh my god, I did it again.
What?
Oh
you
my
doing?
god, I just I
What are you
keep
doing?
accidentally clicking away from. It's fully broken now. It's fully broken. You can still hear us. We can still hear you.
Well, I mean, should we just carry on then, or you try
Yeah,
and fix it?
just keep
Yeah, we
talking.
may as
Keep
well.
talking and nobody explode. Get it?
I've been to
Yeah, like-
gigs like that aren't metal gigs. Like going to
Metal gigs
you
are
know,
solid.
15, 16-year-old girl gigs where it's like
Metal gigs solid. Sorry, go on.
pop punk. It's like shitty punk music.
Go on.
It's the
name
exact
band
same
you-
thing.
You went to
Name
see
and shame the
Autumn Road,
band.
didn't You went to see
Oh,
Autumn
dude,
Road.
you will not know it. No,
So
no, no, no,
all-time
no. I
low.
went to go see like 2020, which is like a not a very well known band.
No.
Oh, what was the other one called? Something Lemon.
Something
remember what the
lemon.
And
Lemon
was
pop.
called. Dude, this is how shitty they were. Nobody knows who it is.
Turns out
My
Rachel just
mate
went to
had
a lemon
crush
party.
on one of the dudes. And yep, figured it out, guys. But it's the exact same thing of just like teenage girls are fucking psycho. As soon as like person comes on to the stage, everyone slams into the front, and there's just me at the back. So they're like, I'm gonna go. Honestly,
One of the first gigs I went to was a Bring Me the Horizon gig, just after they released the album Sempiternal. Great. I actually think that album's fucking brilliant.
Oh, it's
After that band went downhill, in my opinion. But
oh
that's a
no.
conversation for another time. But there was a bit where they were like, I can't remember exactly what they said, but basically the idea was to get all the girls on some guy's shoulder or something. And some random like 14-year-old girl behind me, I was 16 at the time, I think maybe 15, was just like, "Can you pick me up, please?" I was like, fuck. I don't know who the hell you are, I guess. So I just had this random 14-year-old sat on my shoulders for a song. Just like,
Oh.
okay.
Oh my
Alright.
god, that's
It's
amazing.
really random.
Questionable. And this was right before Corona.
Ah, yes, right before Corona, like 9 years ago.
That Rona.
So
God, something like that.
Can't imagine Chris ever having anybody like as a piggyback.
As a piggyback.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
Imagine if it was a piggyback. Can
A
everybody get a
piggyback.
girl up on their shoulders and I went piggyback?
Look at him. You see
How-
that, his legs would be crushed just by
How
like.
sad was that? Yeah, Woody, maybe if
You
you
would
got on
go
my
into
back, but
ground.
like a normal-sized girl, I can lift.
I doubt that.
I
See,
don't
the-
believe
the-
that for a
If
second.
he flexes, the muscle just goes in.
The reason
Wow.
I asked about the sort of
An attack
how
Chris
packed in everyone
podcast.
was that like when I went to like the last sort of rave I went to, like you'll generally get a bunch of space because in general people don't like I don't like need a lot of space, but people are gonna be dancing, right? So there's usually like way enough space for everyone. But then there is always sort of that group that goes like packs in the front. There's a bunch of space on the sides and the back. And yeah, I was just sort of curious about how that was because I was I've actually told this on stream yet. Back in Austin during the rave at RTX. That was fucking terrible. I'm glad I wasn't
my
in
God.
there. Jesus
We
Christ.
need to have
But
a whole conversation about Austin.
it
at
was
some point.
fucking insane.
That was a plan for a topic at some point.
Imagine
Yeah.
a bunch of nerds who spent their entire lives in their own rooms behind their PCs, which is fine. Then going
Willing to
to
spend
willing to
like
spend a lot
platinum
of
ticket money.
platinum ticket money, a bunch of money to go to a rave with like a mix of like sort of this mix of like video game
good.
theme tunes and like EDM, and it was just not very
And
good.
the most expensive bar I've ever seen.
Dude, that bar, it was just
The-
like 10 like
The best music
for
was
anything
on.
you wanted. It was just like, don't care what you're doing.
This, a
The-
bottle of beer would have been $10.
Insane. It's also America. The
Yeah, it's also not even good beer.
no, the best music that was on was when the not professional DJ was doing a thing, right? Like Jack Patillo
Yeah.
is not a DJ at all, but his music was so much better than that other dude. I don't even know what his name is anymore. It was weird.
Rhyme Crafts, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
as soon as you have fucking
Because Jack's
grime in
music
your
was
name,
more like
fucking
typical
hell.
music.
Yeah, that was decent. I mean,
No,
he
no,
wasn't
no.
necessarily a good DJ, but at least he picked good music. Like Grimecraft, that was just
Pick
fucking
music people
terrible.
knew.
Bunch of like, I mean, the music he was playing was probably good for that audience, but it was just fucking
No,
terrible.
there's like Final Fantasy.
I mean, if there's a bunch of weebs there, then yeah, play that music. But that was the only reason. Bunch
Oh
of
no.
weebs and nerds, and that's fine.
Weebs
I don't
and
care if you're a weeb or if you're a nerd, but that wasn't a.
I think you went to the convention too. You also
Yeah, I
complicit.
mean, I'm complicit.
Actually volunteered your time.
I volunteered my time, and I was on stage. That's the thing, though.
I
Was
guess
on stage. But that sort of.
I
So
was not.
I was on stage, and that sort of view of like what type of person was going insane in there, and you could see that they didn't know what they were doing at all. They're like, I'm not used to this, but I'm here. Yay!
I mean, if they're having a good time, they're having
And
a
that's
good time.
fine. Yeah, it's wonderful, and they did seem
Yeah.
like they were having a really good time.
I guess it's
But it was just noticeable that they hadn't. And then the fucking security guard. There were a bunch of like nerds who like. I kept saying it. It's not. I don't mean it as like a derogatory term. But like a bunch of like people who don't look like they're going to a rave. And then there was this one huge jack dude in like a wife beater, like a vest, wearing all these like glow sticks everywhere, and like I think he had like glow in the dark body paint on as well, and it's like with a fake tan and a
Right.
Oh my god.
incredibly clear like earpiece in to like talk to the other security guards, and he was just in there like, yeah, I'm part of this group. Yeah, hey, do you have the drugs for me? What
That's
are you?
amazing.
What the fuck are you doing?
It's incredible.
We had people trying to bribe us because they didn't have tickets.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah.
Yeah,
So the amount of people who turned up to that event who were just like,
insane.
"Oh, do you have a ticket?" We'd ask, "Oh, do you have a ticket?" And they'd be like, "What do you mean?"
Just buy a ticket. Could you
Yeah,
imagine going
ticket
to
event.
going to like a gig or a rave and just realize then
Trying to
only then
walk in.
realizing that you need to buy a ticket? What are you doing?
Yeah.
When you go to a metal concert, do you get like
What?
searched? Do you get patted down?
Yes.
yeah. More or
Is
less.
it thorough?
Hit and miss.
Yeah, like I've been to ones. If you bring a bag, they'll do a thorough search of your bag.
Bag will always be searched. Jacket usually gets like a pocket pat down.
Yeah, a couple of them I've been to. but
Rachel,
they've
why don't you
been-
dab your? Why don't you dab? I'm sorry, Rachel's trying to make
Nope.
one of his dab.
Redeem to make me
Fix him a
down.
dab.
Chris,
I redeemed
You're
it.
on
and now
stream.
do
It
it.
has to be you.
you're gonna have to dab, Chris.
Oh no. I spent my points.
Can we please raise our hand? If one of you thinks Chris should dab, raise your hand. Rachel doesn't agree apparently. Rachel
Oh.
doesn't
No.
want Chris to
Oh,
dab. Oh, there she
Chris
goes. There she goes. Yeah,
requested.
sorry, Chris.
Chris, they
Chris.
requested you.
We,
Oh,
Chris,
they.
look, the
we-
person
Yes.
who redeemed it requested you.
Okay, I'll do it. Don't worry.
oh, that's a
Dab.
shame. That's a shame.
Look at that. I dabbed. You're welcome.
You know, the king of the Netherlands. The king of the Netherlands once dabbed. The king of the Netherlands once dabbed on camera.
You don't.
He was caught dabbing.
I've definitely been to a couple of gigs in London where you've been like, they've had a metal detector there, like a full-on, like as if you're going for an
Really?
airport metal detector.
That,
yeah.
That's depended on the venue for me. So like, because of where I live, getting to both Manchester venues and Birmingham venues is very easy.
Right.
So if you're going to like some gigs in Birmingham are tiny, and you get like the little pat down on the way in, like you would like for a club or something.
Right.
But other ones in both,
Wait.
like both Birmingham and Manchester, are like huge arenas,
You get a
and they already have all of the security team required for like football matches or
jeez.
much bigger events than a metal gig.
If
So
you,
yeah, there will be. There's sometimes there's something
if
like
you just go to a club in the UK, do you always get a pat down?
not always.
No.
Because I've
Always, no.
never had that
Only-
happen here. It's a different culture, I suppose. But
I don't come
I
in
haven't
enough
done it
clothes
I just the
In Birmingham, it's very common.
Really?
the most recent rave I went
If
to.
you're
they
in like the
definitely-
popular street, yeah.
the most recent rave I went to, they definitely You have to like empty your pockets, and they pat you down. I wouldn't say like thoroughly, but like anywhere like you could have almost anywhere you could have something hidden, they sort of like pat down.
Yeah, that's pretty common as well. Like that's the minimum usually. Like the low end is quick. Pat down.
Almost
It's
anywhere.
very different being a girl. Very different. It is literally just like, hello, ticket, cool, and you go. It's like,
Check your bag though.
yeah, thanks. Sometimes.
seen
No, I think they've always done bag checks
depending
for
on who you
like
get up
nearly
to.
every gig that I've been to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Only a couple I can think of when I was younger that was like, but most like the big ones I've been to have been like bag checks.
The thing is, when they're checking for things, they don't want to like. I feel like for a lot of, I'm not sure if this is a thing for like, it's probably not a thing for like metal gigs, but like, they don't want to kick you out for having drugs with you, because if that was a thing, they wouldn't get a lot of people actually buying tickets. Right? Like, wait, hello? Oh my god, we've lost them. They've all frozen. Oh my god. They're gone. Are we still alive? We are. Yeah, no, and there's definitely, yep. Well, bye. It's just me. It's just me. It's fine. It's fine. It's just me. I've taken over. It's all good. Yeah, Discord definitely died. My plans finally come together. It's just me talking to myself. It's just me. I mean, honestly, I'm the only one who has anything interesting to say. Really. You know, I'm the only one who actually knows what good music is. So, I mean, Trivium, that fucking sucks, doesn't it? It's fine, he can't hear me. What happened to my face? Look at that. Oh my god. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to, like, find their way back here. I mean, this might be the sort of impromptu end of the podcast. I'm just gonna sit like this while I try to see what the other people have to say. Mate, chat, and normal. Oh my god, it's all me. Hi. I'm sorry, I look like, what's his name? From the Goonies.
Made it.
Why, hello there.
There we go. Hi,
Yeah.
Nico, you made it.
So our other server just died.
Oh yeah, also, I
killed
mean,
itself.
don't look at the Discord.
Oh no.
It's definitely in there.
Oh no, I absolutely am clipping you with those faces.
It was good, wasn't it? I liked it.
It's great.
Oh,
honestly,
especially the
but
last
now
one
it's
where-
Hard froze.
God, I look like the dude from the Goonies. When I was in the sort of center. Well, yeah, I don't know what happened. It just sort of fucked itself. It wasn't my fault.
The other server's having it like it's not our side.
Did you
It
hear
has-
anything?
You can't connect to anything at all.
Did you guys hear anything I was saying? It
Nope.
was Sloth. Thank you. It definitely was
What
Sloth.
was it we were on about?
I'm just
very
glad.
engaged
Woody,
chat.
Woody, I'd like you to not listen to this podcast, or at least not
Oh,
the
I
bit.
absolutely
Not the
heard what you
bit.
said about Trivium.
No, it's fine.
Oh, were you just like shouting shit when you realised we couldn't hear you?
Yeah, I was just
I
saying.
like to try and get.
I was just saying that I was just, I don't know, I was stating the fact that I was the only one who actually had good taste in music, and that Trivium was shit. I'm lying. I actually really like Trivium.
I will
really, having listened to like, I went to like the sort of most popular things, and I went through that for like half an hour. That was really good.
I want to see what's currently on the most popular because they've released an album a couple of months
The
ago.
number one is Catastrophist.
Yes,
Yeah.
solid song, solid fucking.
It's from the
song.
new
that
album.
was so good.
Um,
The first one that made me go like, this is a bit more than I'm used to, was In Waves, but that was just the start. That was sort of like that. I feel like.
so in waves.
Yeah, it's very heavy to start.
Yeah,
It's
What
also
I-
got a lead-in song.
The sort of general gist of it that I got was that if I were to compare anything to it, I would say that and I hope not offending you by saying this, but I feel like Avenged Sevenfold is like a sort of calmer version of Trivium. Does that make sense?
I can somewhat see what you
I,
mean.
I
Yeah.
get where you're coming from. Yeah, 100%.
Within Waves, though, there's a song called "Capsizing the Sea," right? Yeah,
yeah.
which is supposed to be played first. It's like supposed to flow into.
Right.
Like Enter Shikari has 2 songs, one called System and one called Meltdown, and they each have like 3 periods behind.
Saw them live,
Yeah, I've seen them live.
but they
too.
weren't there as Enter Shikari. They were there as Shikari's sound system, I think.
Oh, that's slightly different.
It is. It definitely is.
Yeah, no, I've seen Sound System and Enter Shikari.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
With In Waves, so like it's by no means like their best song. They have much more complex, much more like
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
interesting songs that are not it's the most played one because it's
By far.
the only, since it's come out, it is the only song they have ever ended a gig with, and it is such a good end because they're not
Right.
like it's not one that you sing along to, it's one that you move to.
Yeah, that's good. If you really want to end it off.
They'll go through, so like I said, Capsizing the Sea, which is like the intro bit, they'll have that playing, and they will make everyone get down like onto the ground, a bit like Slipknot do with Spit It Out.
I was waiting to see if you remembered.
They'll get everyone on the ground, and then the moment it drops, like the moment he first says "In Waves," the entire room just fucking jumps the fuck up, and
Nah, it's good. It's fucking
like
real
that
good.
for the rest of the song.
Dude, if you like that, if you this is a fucking we're taking a different route here.
Where?
If you like that sort of thing of everyone doing the same thing because they know the music and they love the music, Carnival in the Netherlands. The music is, I mean, it's this whole like different route we're taking now, but that is just the thing. It's this music that, especially like if you stay in the city that you're used to, because like every single city has their own sort of like
Thing.
group of bands and like
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
And we do it a bit different here where I live than than in the other cities. It's generally sort of like a general thing. It's all sort of similar, and then we do it quite differently. But I mean, it's that thing is also there in there where like everybody goes down at the same
There's
time.
like, along that vein, a band that does that fucking brilliantly is Skindred, which are a reggae metal band, and
Love them.
they are so fucking good. They have this thing called the Newport Helicopter. Don't know why it's called that. But in one of their songs, it's pretty simple. The idea is you're supposed to take your shirt off, and when it like hits, you just go nuts and spin it around over the top of your head. Which sounds a bit dumb, but when you've got an entire room or an entire field of people doing it, it is awesome. It's so
What song
fucking.
is
That exact same thing also happens in a song during Carnival. Anything you've said about like a group thing in metal is a thing.
It's also
during
a
Carnival.
thing.
Yeah.
You guys do, yeah.
Yep.
Dude, it's so much fucking
Bet there's
fun.
no fucking conga lines.
You'd be surprised what you see in a mosh pit before it starts. When everyone's like holding everyone back with the circles like forming, there'll be somebody in there going like, hey, hey.
I'll show you.
Or like someone goes and sits down in the middle of it or something.
My favorite thing is when they're like opening it up for a wall of death. Now, anyone who doesn't know what a wall of death is, it's pretty self-explanatory. You'll split the entire venue in half,
In
and
half.
then they'll just come crashing into each other.
Run at each other and start a pit wherever the
I've
collision happens.
I've seen walls of death and mosh pits happen during Carnival
My
as well.
favorite thing, and I'll show
That's
you
amazing.
a physical example of it. So you always get that one fucker who acts like he's in control of it, and he's the one like, yeah, everyone hold on.
Yeah.
Like, he's like this. He's like,
Even I know this. Even I know this.
it's like we know the band is in control, but he's just doing that, and it's like, fuck off.
You're going to
There's
die.
always the people running around in the middle as well before. They're like, we're not going to run with everybody, we're going to be in here when they hit us. Is it okay? Fair play. If that's what you're up for.
Gonna die.
There's one
That's
example.
the thing though, like nobody's gonna force you to do it. You're not gonna get yourself shoved into a mosh pit or into the middle of a wall of death or anything at concert. If you want to do that and you enjoy the adrenaline of it, fucking go for it. And people aren't gonna try to hurt you. It's completely up to you.
Have you guys ever seen the thing where it's a Dutch sort of song, which is also played a lot during Carnival, where people start sort of hopping left and then right? Have you seen that?
Not
It
quite.
happens a lot during Formula One, where there's a lot of Dutch people there.
Oh, maybe.
I feel like a lot. That's something that's become sort of a known thing that we do. It happened a lot during, I think during one of the like the Tour de France or the Vuelta. Yeah, I mean, for some reason, and I mean, it's become more of a thing sort of the past years. Whereas that sort of like communal sort of dance sort of thing, it's not calling it a dance is it's an overstatement, but something about that where it's like the music doesn't have to be good, you know, it doesn't have to be like actual good music, just as long as everyone knows the song, everyone's drunk enough, and everyone's doing the same sort of movement, everyone's having a good time, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what music is.
There's always a very social aspect to the best parts of music, I found, personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Rachel, what do your music have that gigs that metal gigs don't?
Yeah. When did the mosh pit start at Whitney?
Yeah, you think that I have seen some crazy white girls, like
Yeah.
tiny, who were just like running into mosh pits, like
I'm sorry, but
absolute madmen.
I'm sorry, but Chris saying I've seen some crazy white girls.
Dude,
Crazy white girls in my time.
you watch them like they'll shove past you, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And they'll just be like bombing it for a pit, and they're gonna die. Like what?
I mean, it's because they definitely are too short to see the gig, so they may as well get the shit kicked out of them instead.
It's just fuck.
That video somewhere, it was on Reddit, of like that girl that's at a festival, and like I think it must be in a mosh pit, and she's like charging at these like huge dudes, and she's like 5'3". She's just charging at these dudes, and it's just like she's gonna die. This guy's dead. Like, oh fuck.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I'll have to find that video somewhere.
It's
Oh,
one of
everybody.
One of the like videos that I saw that was like a moment of metalheads are like really better than any other like gig, any other music people, is like there was
bold statement.
Yeah, bold statement.
well,
Also, I feel like
Fleetwood Mac there.
I feel like everyone would say that about their own sort of thing.
obviously.
If there's enough of a sort of like gig, festival, rave sort of culture there, there's always going to be like,
oh yeah, but I remember seeing it again on Reddit. Like it was at a festival, and a woman has like a wardrobe malfunction involving her bra, and
nip slip.
yeah, like kind of you can see her do this, and immediately 4 guys like sort of surround her but turn the other way, so like they're looking outwards.
Yep.
To sort of shield her, and I'm like,
Yeah.
good
Oh, I
people.
think I saw that. Yeah, I think I saw that.
Good gang.
Yeah, I've seen that video
Yeah,
too.
that's good. Rachel just went all. No, she's back. Rachel turned into her grey box again.
Did my grey box come back? It's my special
No,
space.
no,
Leave it alone, okay?
His special space.
I don't like you calling your grey box your
Just, you know,
special place.
vibing. Just remembered Fleetwood Mac, and I transcended to a different plane of existence. It's fine. All okay.
That's the thing we haven't talked about yet. It's like, so sort of if anything that sort of could describe my taste in music is that either has to, bye Chris, it either has to like have a lot of emotion behind it or be sort of like a release, right? Because like I wouldn't say that drum and bass has a lot of emotion behind it, but it's definitely like if you put that on loudly, it's definitely a release, right? You can like. Yeah.
Some energy can go.
If you're feeling like
freak out.
yeah, if you're feeling like anxious or anything about something, you just put that on really loud, and you're like, you know, you just sort of let go. But like,
Sure.
what you just said, I haven't listened to like Fleetwood Mac, but there's a bunch of
Such a good
You've
band.
definitely heard a couple of their songs, like whether you've
probably yeah.
You definitely
but like,
have.
But like, if you like listen to like stuff like Pink Floyd. Listen to The Wall. I mean, if you sit down, well, not sit down because that'd be quite a long sit down. But if you like listen to The Wall from start to finish, that's such a fucking experience.
Mm-hmm.
Or like listen to Ziggy Stardust and Spice from Mars from start to finish. That is such a fucking experience. There's so many like emotions and so just depth behind it. And I feel like one of the least well-known things, sort of albums that got close to that, I wouldn't compare it, but that got close is the Proto Men, which is this band that has made two and is working on a third one. Has been working on a third one for like 10 years. Albums that are loosely based on the story of Mega Man.
What?
But it's so fucking good.
So they're doing concept albums.
Yeah, and it's so good. It's like a whole story thing, and it's like a Queen, but also Bowie sort of like. And it's man, if you have the chance.
There's a couple of heavy comparisons.
I mean, yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah.
But it's really good. And then it's one of those things that when I listen to an album like that, I'll listen to it and then I'll go back and actually listen to it, as in like listen to like the lyrics and like try to get what the meaning behind it is. And that's one of the albums that I've listened to so many times, and like I know exactly like when you're listening to it, there's this like sort of movie that plays in my head with like an actual story that happens, and it's full of emotion and it's insane. That's
There's
always
a band called AGR that kind of do the same thing. Oh, go on.
no, go ahead.
Go on, you good. No, I was just gonna say there's a band called AGR that kind of do the same thing with like storytelling and music, where it's kind of themed around being at like a theater. So it starts with this really like big opening sequence, and it ends with like the word where they combine like all the songs that have been together, kind of in a way. It's just like a journey through them, like trying to figure out. They're like 20-year-old dudes just trying to figure out like where they are in life, like what they want from life, and that's like one of those songs I'm just like, whenever I'm doubting like what's going on, I'm just gonna sit and listen to that, and kind of helps you figure out where you want to go. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Everyone's got that like mood music as well, right? You kind of touch on that a little bit there, where it's like, yeah, the main thing I go towards on a daily basis is more rock and metal with the odd other stuff thrown in, but everybody's got that like either genre or band or songs that are just for moods.
There is it's so fucking specific, but I have some friends living nearby, and I sometimes go there and they have like a hookah, smoke some stuff, and then I walk back through the city and you put on some lo-fi hip-hop. We've all seen those like ads on Instagram, where it's like
Yeah,
low music to study by, but like it's so good to just like be
like lo-fi chill.
lo-fi chill
just
music
chill
and
out.
just walk through the city when it's like just a bit chilly outside and you're just a bit high and it's so good. It's
So, like,
fucking
Just
good.
to exist too.
Right? Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah.
I definitely get what you mean with that kind of music.
I
So good.
definitely have like, so I live off a bunch of like personally created playlists, and there's like I have everything from like my gym music, which is just like really heavy, like get shit done, like puts you in an angry mood music. I've got two playlists for my bike. One which is like I want to get somewhere, but I want to enjoy the ride. I want to cruise and like just take my time with it. And I've got one of like I need to get somewhere quick, so it's just all like really fast songs. Really,
Speeding
like,
speeding all the way through school zones, zigzagging between old ladies and dogs, and
Nobody speeds around here.
Yeah.
It's
But then
fine.
there's even stuff like, so it's quite a common thing for this group that whenever we do a meet, we'll make playlists for like that meet, and it's normally the same song. If you look through all their playlists, they're mostly the same songs.
right.
But like,
Our one's different though. The one for Ales, completely different to the other ones. Yes.
not in the slightest. But like that, for example, if I'm like missing you guys and stuff like that, because that's something that happens occasionally. Like, I will listen to that shit because it's like music that you've all put on there and I know you like, and I'll listen to it and enjoy it unless you put on some shit.
Oh,
like
Oh my god, that
like
one
NSYNC.
from
which
Paris? Was it the Paris one is a shit show?
the Manchester one's I think the best one we made. That one like
I'm gonna
actually
open
has
this and I'm
is
gonna get
like
rickrolled.
This one's
a
good.
decent. Yeah, it is. The Rory 100% put Rick Astley, and it was so predictable. I'm kind of disappointed in him. I'm not gonna lie.
Just because we have like
We're getting called
we have
out.
like about like 10 minutes or so left. There's something that Rach and I definitely can agree on, and it's like club music, where it's like all the fucking terrible, terrible songs that everybody knows the lyrics to, and as soon as you're just a bit tipsy, you'll sing them
Yep.
until your fucking throat starts bleeding.
Oh yeah, 100%. I enjoy that.
I could completely agree with that as well.
Oh, like the fucking. Oh,
I'm not in a
just-
club very often, but if I am, I'm drunk enough to be singing those songs too.
Yeah, and I sound like a white girl. Like,
Yeah.
like.
The only time I will listen to Oasis is if I'm in a club and there's one song that they always play at the end of the night, and it always just reminds me of like me and my two best mates just like curled up in a ball together, like in the middle of the stage, just like swaying, singing it, pissed out of our ass. Rare.
in my opinion, Oasis are a terrible band.
Yeah,
Awful.
but
Agreed.
that's
Agreed.
that's what you need at those moments.
Yeah.
God, I fucking miss
That's
that
when you
dude.
did like the bad
They're-
music.
Oh,
It's shit like Cheerleader and stuff like that. That's God knows how old at this point.
Dude, yeah.
Still on every night in the club.
Think they're like, remember when Chico came to one of like the club nights and they did
Oh.
Chico Time again? I was like, I haven't heard this song in 10 years, but I'm drunk and I'm bopping to it and I'm
It's
loving it.
fucking uni for that. Like we got the fucking cheeky girls or whatever they were called.
Yep, I remember
Right,
them.
uni.
Yeah.
Chris, we
We
are
had
the
S Club 3.
Chris. We are the cheeky girls.
Yeah.
We
had
are the cheeky
Rue
girls.
also just mentioned in the chat, Mr.
I
Brightside.
hate that song.
Mr.
Brightside.
I
It's
had Mr.
terrible.
Brightside down
It's
as a meme
terrible, but you
song.
can't not sing along to it
No,
when you're
I-
drunk.
I think it's
That's the thing, right?
Woody doesn't. It came on while we were in France, right? No, Italy.
Yeah.
Now imagine all those sort of really like English songs that you'd know and you'd sing
Sung
along to in
by-
a club.
Dutch people.
That, but then add on really Dutch songs that people and all of that together, and it's just
get
a
that
big
as well.
fucking mess of drunk
Merge.
people having a shit ton of fun.
Love that.
Dude,
Oh,
Mr.
it's so
Brightside
good.
probably is the most
Meme.
common one that is
Right.
just like
Yeah.
meme, but also people will go fucking insane for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll go
Yep, yep,
feral.
yep.
Me and my
Go
mates, I will be the
feral.
first to go
Frothing at the
feral.
mouth.
When Mr. Brightside is played in the middle of Digi, they've like released all the confetti. Mr. Brightside's playing. It
This
is.
better be Darude Sandstorm.
It's an opinion.
So
Savage.
what? They're
No, it's just Rick Astley again.
It's just
boring. God damn it, Rick.
They,
We had a habit actually of whenever it was one of my mates' birthdays, we'd go obviously out for a drink at the pub, and they always had. I don't think you got me, Rue. I don't think that's how that works.
You could also
um,
see it's it's the same URL as earlier.
If I checked, yeah. We'd go to like the DJ because they do shout outs for their birthday, and we always ask for Darude Sandstorm.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
It's like their favorite song.
It's loud. So good. They're slowly starting to like open up clubs again here, but like you have to like rent a stool. So it's like it's not the same experience because there's only like 50 people there, and you have to keep 1.5 meter distance from each other. But you're in the same place, and there is live music, like live DJs. So I'm probably
Stop.
Rue has asked, what about karaoke?
I'm a big
Oh, dude,
fan,
I love
but
a good
definitely
karaoke.
need to be absolutely shit faced.
Yeah,
haven't-
big fan in the right situation.
never done it. Never done it.
Never done karaoke. It's great. It's
I'd
great.
like never do karaoke
guys
in
are
one of
looking
those
for-
like open bar ones. You know that you
No.
always see in the films. Or whatever. I'd never do that.
Booth,
Ones
no.
where it's like a private room
Private
where you get
rooms?
drunk with your mates and you do karaoke. I am
Oh,
all
good.
for.
I
It's
did
so
one-
fun.
I
So
did
good.
one in an open bar, and it was fine because like it was all just drunk students, and
That's
it
good,
was
that's
a
good.
really good time. And
But like,
Um,
isn't going out to a club? Isn't that just a massive karaoke session. Like,
Yeah, but
everyone at
it
the
is
same
still
time.
different
It is different.
because like you very specifically pick what songs to put on. And I don't know. It goes back to the social thing. I think again, like
Yeah.
being in that private room with like your mates, having a drink and having a laugh and spending the evening just like choosing your own music and laughing at each other is just brilliant all night.
I feel
Yeah,
like
dude.
I definitely wouldn't like. I wouldn't like a year ago. I wouldn't, or like long before that, I wouldn't. But now, I think, yeah, I think I would. I think it'd be fun.
And
It really is.
Next time
yeah.
we meet up, we all need to bring SingStar.
I just
we,
go do
Yeah,
karaoke.
dude.
We did it in
Go
Manchester
somewhere.
one of the nights. Obviously, there was a lot of people at that meet. We've kind of touched on it in a previous
Do you
podcast.
remember? Do you
But in the
remember?
living room, we put like a karaoke thing on, and
Do you remember me
It's
and I can't think of his name. That's bad.
it's real bad.
Ripe him.
Matt, Alex, Brewery,
No, not in our group.
Gabe.
Well, sort of.
on our group.
Oh yeah,
Ib,
yeah.
Ben.
I'm
Jesus
aware
Christ.
of who you're talking about.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
right.
Team
Yeah.
lead, London.
Right.
That's bad. I can't think of his name.
What team lead in
Wait,
London?
what? Scott?
Scott. Yeah, there you go. Jesus.
I thought you were on about someone completely different.
Sam.
I was
Ew,
definitely
I
not by
think
Scott.
us three were on the same page, and then like
Yep.
you were not.
Yeah, no.
Dude.
I meant Scott. Well, when
Dude.
Scott and I
Somebody
were.
clip that so we can send it to
I
Scott.
know,
No,
right?
don't.
Here
Please
we go.
don't. Please don't.
Clipping it. Guess who's
Please
not
don't.
going to Austin
I
next
need
year?
him. I need to be a guardian next year.
Did you clip that as well? No, don't. I
Yep.
need him.
No,
I didn't mean
need
it
him.
like
There
that.
you go.
I didn't mean it like that. He's one of the few people I invited over.
Ooh,
Yeah. There you go.
weird brag.
All right,
need
you
him.
kind
No,
of remember
At least to
something.
me, anyway.
What I was trying to say was when he and I did that one song that we sang so loudly and so like off tune. Yeah, that was bad.
Then
I mean,
Tiff
to be
comes in and like raps.
She knew like
oh my
Eminem.
god,
She
yeah,
rapped an Eminem song and part of a Linkin Park song,
yeah.
and we were all just sat there like, "Fucking hell,
Jesus,
What?
where'd that come from?
who picks
Yeah.
this song?"
Hello.
And it's like, "Oh, she can actually do it, right?
I was,
Okay, fair
I was
play."
probably at the point where I was in
It is
bed because I
impressive.
was just dying.
Yeah, you were
We're
super ill.
dead.
There weren't that
man.
many of us down there at that point. I don't think.
I think we were all like
I don't.
upstairs, like trying to. I can't even fucking remember.
There were too
Was
many
that
people
the,
in that
um,
house. It was great.
Was that the
Everyone
Disaronno
just
night?
split into their own little rooms.
Was that the Disaronno
What?
night?
What night?
I
Disaronno
think it was
night?
the night before the Disaronno. Maybe it was Disaronno
I think
night.
it was the first night, wasn't it?
I don't
It
remember.
blurs together.
It was so
It
long
was
ago now.
So long ago.
So fucking
I mean, you
long.
say that it's 2 years
Now.
ago.
Hmm?
You say that it's 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We've
It's a long
only,
fucking time, dude.
we've only known each other for like
Long
2 years.
time, man.
It's just under 2 years.
Two.
Yeah.
Don't find me.
It was about a year and a half ago.
It seems like a fucking lifetime. And on that
Yep.
note,
No.
I hope you I don't know, learned something.
Maybe. What about metal? A lot of metal. This.
What
this
about metal?
episode.
We knew that was going to
Well,
happen when it was
well,
us two, and we
100%,
decided
yeah.
to use
When
it.
it was-
Like,
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Well, Rachel's gonna list
enjoyed it.
exclusively listen to Trivium from now on.
Yeah.
That's what we've
That's
accomplished.
me solved. I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, I mean, she has, Chris and her, same hair, sort of. It works.
If you want to
Pretty
feel
much similar, yeah.
if you want
Yeah.
to feel really sad, one of the songs in the new album is about his dog passing away.
I can't believe they stole that concept from fucking John Wick. There
yeah,
you
that never
go.
happens to anybody in
It
real
never
life.
happens in real life. Dogs live
No.
forever.
Dogs don't die.
They just move
all
to
dogs live
a farm
forever.
upstate.
That's what Mom told me.
That's
It's
what Mom
fine.
told me.
Mom told me.
But I saw her dinging the fucking grave. No, that's dark. I started off
What a
dark.
dark thing to end on.
Such
We
a-
had such a nice chat about music and how happy it makes everyone.
If you haven't ever before listened to All Star by Smash Mouth, there we go. That makes it a better thing to end on.
Dude, that
Right, now
is
Anna's
one of the
happy.
songs that reminds me of you guys.
Oh, wait.
Always reminds me of you
PSA,
guys.
ABBA sucks ass. Fuck you, Anna.
No,
When-
no, ABBA is the best. Go away.
when my mom was young, she
the
dropped her
podcast.
hamster and it was almost all the way dead, but not completely. So my grandpa had to put it in a garbage bag and slam it against the wall to finish it up. And on that note,
You are the dancing queen.
Follow us,
In the
like,
podcast.
subscribe,
Okay.
share
Holy
us,
shit, dude.
tell your friends about us. Don't tell your hamster about us. And have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Night, everyone.